The real estate market is changing and most people are panicking. But the truth is, this is likely the biggest opportunity we've seen in 35 years. In this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly what's happening in the market, why some strategies like Airbnb and the Burr are failing, and how you can use this opportunity to build wealth while everyone else is playing defense. In every market crash, someone is losing money, while everyone else is scooping up deals and getting rich quietly. That's because recessions don't destroy wealth. They transfer it from the people who panic to the people who are prepared. The only difference is that the ones who get wealthy during a recession understand market cycles. So there's 4 different market cycles we're going to talk about right now. And so your phase 1 is going to be really the recovery phase. So this is the best time to buy properties. It's also the time when people are running out of cash because you've just come out of phase 4, which we'll explain at the end here. But essentially phase 1, the recovery, you're going to be able to pick up undervalued properties a lot of the time. Savvy investors really start looking for properties here because growth is just starting to pick back up. And so there's going to be declining vacancy, no new construction. I like to say in phase 1 and phase 4, that's when the real investors will shine. But phase 2, this is where things will pick back up into the expansion phase. So expansion is what we just finished here in the last couple of years. There's declining vacancy, there's new construction happening. This is a boom. And so the challenge is a lot of the time, because prices are going through the roof, there can be a frenzy of people jumping into the market. Banks are more willing to give mortgages. So once we reach the peak, that's when we're going to slowly move into phase 3, which is hyper supply. There's too much inventory. Growth is starting to slow down a little bit. So a lot of new constructions being finished, you have increasing vacancy, and this is going to have the early warning signs of things kind of going in the opposite direction. So prices are going to start to drop. And that's when we're going to move into phase 4, which is really where we're heading right now, where we kind of even are. It's the recessionary period. So a lot of increasing vacancy, a lot of construction is being finished. So you have more completions of units. So this is kind of counterintuitive because a lot of people actually veer away during the recessionary period, and the ones that were jumping on the bandwagon during phase 1 and 2 and super excited about buying because prices are going up, they're going to get terrified now. And so the media is going to be telling you a lot about don't buy right now, and it's just, not a good time based on prices dropping. But that's actually going to be potentially the best time to buy. That's when a lot of the seasoned investors will take advantage because they understand market cycles. They've gone through 10, 20, 30 years of investing, and they get everything in real estate is cyclical. So the ones that have resources during phase 3 and phase 4, they're going to do the best. The people that have liquidity, they have the cash, they have the knowledge, and they have the foresight to act. So now that we understand the 4 phases of the real estate cycles, now you want to understand how to actually benefit from these long term, because obviously no one can time the market perfectly. And this is really the framework that I think through when we're looking at the cyclical nature of real estate, because everything goes up and then it comes down and then it goes up. And so the more seasoned investors, they've weathered the storms, they've made it through decades of investing, and they get that everything happens again and again and again. And so you can't really invest with a 1 or 2 year horizon. And so you really want to invest with at least a 5, if not a 10+ year horizon if you're doing buy and hold, preferably even longer. That way you can absorb the costs that happen during downturns. This is really how I think about it. The cycles go up and down, but slowly they'll graduate and go up higher and higher. And so the goal is down in here, you want to have enough cash flow to really weather the storms. And so I've never met anyone that's been able to time the market perfectly. It's usually time in the market is what you want to do. And so when prices drop, interest rates might increase right around here. And so if they do, you want to ensure that you're actually doing your analysis in a way in which you have enough money to weather the storms and make it out on top. So where people can get in trouble is when prices are dropping in here and maybe their properties are worth 50,000 less or even 100,000+ less, but they don't have enough cash flow to be able to make it out on top. So you're in this predicament where it's either a cash flow negative property or you sell it and you lose money from what you initially bought it for. So again, the people that will survive and really make it out on top will have enough cash flow down in here. And so then over in here, when prices are dropping, you really don't want to panic, because the people that panic are the ones that will lose. And so just ensure that you have enough reserves. For me, it's 3% of my portfolio's worth. So if I have a $10 million portfolio, I'll have $300,000 in cash in the bank account. It could be low interest savings to ensure that I can weather the storm and float the properties if they're cash flow negative, or, manage or take care of any capital expenses that come up. And so don't panic when things are coming down, because the people that watch the news and they take on that propaganda in a way of negative stuff that's happening in the market, they're the ones that, again, they'll sell when the knife is dropping, and you never want to try to catch a falling knife. So when the market's coming down, again, that's when you want to have the reserves and ensure that you're not panicking and that you actually are able to weather it out on top. And so when the market downturns, have the reserves, 3% of your portfolio is worth, usually what I do, which if you have like say a $10 million portfolio, that'd be $300,000 in cash to the side for either negative cash flow or just capital expenses that come up, because you're likely not going to be able to refinance as much when things are coming down to be able to pull out your equity. So a lot of the banks will tighten up things. Interest rates might be rising in here too. And so then over here, people are getting all excited. The frenzy's happening, right? And so what you want to ensure that you're doing is you're being mindful. So mindful of prices. So if you're not mindful of the situation, which is like interest rates could be dropping, banks are giving a lot of mortgages, you could get super overconfident and just over leverage yourself. So be mindful here, don't over panic here, have enough cash flow here so that you can actually be exposed long-term to the gains that end up happening, because properties will appreciate year over year over year, but people think that this is like 1, 2, 3 years. This could be 5, 10, 15 plus years. And so just to summarize this, you don't want to make permanent decisions based on temporary feelings that happen in either of these cases, because the people, again, that lose in real estate, they're very emotional. Buying a home is an emotional decision-making process, but we're talking about buying investment properties here in real estate, and those are more of an analytical decision-making process, all right? So there's gonna be more videos like this. Make sure you click subscribe, leave any comments you have on this video down in the chat, and we'll talk to you soon.